throughout the state of Florida, led by parents, taxpayers, and educators who question the accuracy of the material as presented in the text. And the questions are not just limited to these two publications. Recently, by Houghton Mifflin Harcourt's own admission, they have not offered during the last 15 years vocabulary workbooks that have included chapters on Judaism and Christianity, but they have included Islam. This issue was raised at the Pitt County School District in North Carolina. You are aware, as a result of the meeting held on January 15, 2015, that the issue of emphasis on Islam vis-a-vis Christianity and Judaism concerned raised by not just a few parents, but one that is of deep concern to many residents of the community. We allege that there are numerous false and inaccurate statements contained in both textbooks in question and should be obvious as well to each of you as board members and administrators, and as it also has become abundantly clear to the state legislature. In fact, it was obvious enough to the legislature that it passed Senate Bill 864, an act relating to instructional materials for K through 12 public education. This bill took effect on July 1, 2014. The estimated financial cost to the school district to replace both textbooks currently in use, based on 150 students in the advanced placement and 250 students in the Earth and Peoples class, is approximately $54,700. If there is a financial concern by the district for removing these textbooks in question and replacing them with textbooks acceptable to the educators, parents, and taxpayers of the school district, then I am sure there are means and methods in place to obtain funding through the State Department of Education, who initially approved the textbooks via the legislature. As school board members, you have many responsibilities, and the most important of which is education of the students of the school district, not their indoctrination. My wish tonight is that members of the community gathered here will see and hear your vote to fulfill that obligation by voting to remove the question textbooks from the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Riker. Bill Ora to be followed by Kathleen Coppola.
Good evening. My name is Bill Ora. I live at 300 Bal Harbor Boulevard in Punta Gorda. I sent you all an email yesterday, and I got two responses. One said, "Thank you, Bill." The other said, "Read the books for yourself to find out the truth." And sometimes we have to rely on the people who have done the research and had skin in the game. By this I mean they have children in the schools who are having to deal with these issues, these textbooks. Am I allowed to ask the board a question, just show of hands? I have three.
No, sir.
Well, if I can't ask them, let me read my questions, and you don't have to answer. One, how many school board members have read these books? Two, how many of the school board members heard Benjamin Netanyahu's speech today in Congress? And three, how many believe that Muslims would like to eradicate Israel and then the United States? Those are kind of tough questions, and I can understand probably why you don't want to answer them. I believe that teaching religion in high school is appropriate as long as the truth, and I've heard that over and over and over again tonight. We want the truth.
That's right.
And it's told about each religion. And I have read several statements purported that these books do not appear to have the truth in them. What is in our textbooks today, although important, is not the main issue we should be concerned with the Muslim religion. Our main concern should be what Muslims want to accomplish with their caliphate. What Oliver North said 2 nights ago on Fox News, we are engaged in a religious war. Isn't that what the Crusades were all about a long time ago? Are we going back to this again? I think we are. This administration has many Marxist and Muslim advisors in it. Wasn't our country founded on freedom and capitalism? We should be concerned that our history books are teaching the most precious assets we have in our country today, our children. We want to teach them the truth.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments.
Resend these books.
Kathleen Coppola to be followed by Richard Gromolski.
Good evening, board members. Kathleen Coppola, 18798 Countryman Avenue, Port Charlotte, Florida. Here tonight speaking as citizen, taxpayer, mother of 4 that went through your school system and now have grandchildren in your school system. I want to take a different point of view here. The very profound speakers before me, they were absolutely excellent. And I only had a short time to read what the text was when it was emailed to me. But my first impression was it's very boring. Where are the references after the statements that are made? You make statements, you have no footnotes, you have no, this is said here, this was said there. I was always taught that when you make a profound statement or any kind of statement, you should back it up with something that I can then go and look into and see if it's accurate or correct. I want to read to you one sentence that got me. And this is the sentence out of your book, and I quote, "After the battle, the governor of Syria, Muyayiyu," and it's in parentheses the pronunciation, "a kinsman of the slain Uthman from the Umayyad clan of the Quraysh, renewed the challenge." I don't know what age you're teaching this to, but for one who loves to read, and I do, my children love to read, my grandchildren love to read, I would have read that sentence and closed the darn book. That's the worst, correct? That's horrible. Another tack I would like you to investigate is the publishing firm. Is Cengage Learning the publishing firm? Because I just learned today they are in billions of dollars worth of debt. Their debt has been bought out by Apex. And also someone that they do not mention bought over $800 million of their debt. And they would not mention who this person was. If someone's buying the debt of somebody writing your textbook, wouldn't there be a lot of influence peddling there? Absolutely. You should look into that. Sunshine Law was mentioned here tonight. We just had a huge workshop on sunshine over at the airport. It's a wonderful firm, comes in and explains everything, and it would be well worth your while. I'll give you the names of them later, of this lawyer firm, to have a workshop on the sunshine. Last but not least, I want to teach my children, and they want to teach their children the religion of their choice. I could just imagine if there was, 17 pages of Catholicism in your books, you would have a whole different group of people in here complaining to you about that. It's got to be mentioned, yes, there's Catholic religion, Jewish religion, Protestant, Baptist, whatever, but it's mentioned. If my child then wants to go and learn more, there's world religions, and he can go take that course in college. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Richard Kowalski to be followed by James Nolet.
I thought you didn't know what you were going to say. Chairman. Thank you for being here tonight to listen to us. First off, I want to say I agree with the previous speaker here tonight that you guys are all in a very difficult situation. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes right now. However, that does not alleviate the responsibility to our children or to the people who elect you. Okay?
Tilt the microphone to
Sorry.
your...
Okay, is that better? As a parent of 2 children in the Charlotte County school systems, I'd like to express my disappointment in that whole committee and the process by which it was established and conducted. I was at that meeting on January 15th, and yes, I am one of those people who believe that committee was stacked. All of us who were in attendance at that meeting, we were able to watch that committee do what seemed to be a despicable act of just ramming through a predetermined agenda. That's what it seemed like to me. That's my opinion. As a board of elected officials, it's your duty to ensure that our children receive accurate and unbiased material in the classroom. And based on my observation and my observance of that committee's actions, the argument put forth by members of that committee to justify its actions, it was clear to me that you nor the committee have any intention of honoring that commitment to our children. That's my opinion. By allowing half-truths profess to be used to justify saying that a textbook meets the criteria for accuracy in our school system is at best disgraceful. One example was the very first, which has been brought up here tonight. Muslims profess the same God as worshipped by Jews and Christians. Never mind that aforementioned statement is completely ridiculous. Just ask any Christian and they'll tell you. But to justify using that word to say that that statement in the textbook is accurate is just ridiculous. I mean, do we expect our children to be lawyers, look for loopholes within the textbooks as we teach them? Because as the one example was given, our teachers sure ain't going to do it for them. And that's a sad statement. I can profess that that committee was established in the process and carried out its duties in accordance with state sunshine laws. I can profess that the public notice was given to allow maximum attendance by the public. I can profess that accommodations were made so that all in attendance could hear like we can tonight. This is wonderful. Thank you. But by me professing it doesn't make any of it so, now does it? In conclusion, I'd just like to say that I hope that when the time comes that you will just render that committee's recommendations null and void, and you'll honor your commitment to our children. And the last thing that I would say to you is just because you have a policy in place does not make that policy lawful. State sunshine laws were violated. It's obvious. I don't have to be a lawyer to know that. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. The next speaker is James Nolet, to be followed by Brian Bowden.
Thank you for having this meeting this evening. My name is James Nolet. I live at 3106 Iverson Street here in Port Charlotte. I am a Baptist pastor of students in this local vicinity. I have been a resident less than 1 year. I have 3 children of my own. I work with students in middle school and high school from Englewood, Northport, Port Charlotte, and Punta Gorda. My requests are simple, and I will follow all of your directives that were clearly stated on the table and that you could have presented before this meeting, unlike some of my preceding individuals. Here's my request. Equal historical presentation of content. Equal quantity of material presented in our history books to our public school students. Clear statements of each religious background as they are involved in the facts of history, as they seem to be getting confused or combined. There is a quote, and it has been said, that those who do not learn from history are bound to repeat it. But I say, those who learn the wrong history have no choice. What kind of history do we desire our children to create? The worldview we present to them will greatly shape the answer to this question. And so I thank you for your consideration, and I thank you for having this meeting, and I hope that you will look beyond the behavior of some of the individuals tonight, and look to the facts, and look to the questions presented, and the public response to the question at hand as it relates to the textbooks and the fairness involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Boughton, to be followed by Larry Keller.
Thank you very much. Chairman Swift, Vice Chair Rendell, board members Miller, Seeger, and Vincent, Dr. Whitaker, Attorney McKinley, assembled district staff, and guests. My name is Brian Boughton. I'm the president of Charlotte FEA, representing 843 members and all 1,073 members of the teacher bargaining unit here in Charlotte County. With those 1,073 teachers in Charlotte County and nearly 150 administrators, we have a combined time in higher education of over 8,000 years in bachelor's, master's, educational specialists, and doctoral degrees. It is our belief that educators are the ones that should make determination about what should be taught in our classrooms. This is not about the constituency. This is about the education of our children. That would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boughton. I would encourage the remaining speakers, and I have just a few more that have signed up. If what has been said previously is mostly of what you're going to talk about, please edit your comments. Next speaker is Larry Keller, to be followed by Joanne Mulvaney.
And my name is Larry Keller. I live at 50